Hey Browns fans, Nathan Zegura here with another Medical Mutual Browns position preview. And now we're going to look at the Browns wide receiving core. This is one that has a lot of talent at the top, but a lot of opportunity behind them for people to step up and carve out big roles. Let's take a look at who's joining this room. And we'll start with the Browns' 6th-round pick this year, Donovan Peoples-Jones. Donovan Peoples-Jones was the #1 wide receiver recruit in the country coming out of high school. He went to Michigan, and some would say that offense kind of caused him to be lost in the shuffle a little bit. Never achieved his potential, never realized it. But this is a guy with tremendous athletic gifts. 6'2". He runs a 4.4 40. He has a 42-inch vertical leap. He can jump out of the gym. He makes highlight catches look routine. And now you have an opportunity to mold a ball of clay that is first-round caliber. And we'll see if wide receivers coach Chad O'Shea in this room can get Donovan Peoples-Jones to realize that limitless potential that he has. Not to mention, Peoples-Jones was also a very good returner in college at Michigan, 2 punt return touchdowns, and was a freshman All-American as a returner. So look for him to compete there if he's not competing for snaps as a receiver early in his rookie season. Now, who are the projected starters? You know who the projected starters are. Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry, the former LSU Tigers and best friends, form one of the most dynamic duos in the entire league. Beckham Jr. is a 3-time Pro Bowler. He's got 3 seasons under his belt with more than 1,300 yards receiving and 10 touchdowns. He's produced at least 1,000 yards receiving in every year in which he's played more than 4 games. So that's 5 out of his 6 seasons in the NFL. Joining him, of course, is Jarvis Landry, who's made the Pro Bowl in each of the last 5 seasons, and he has been the Browns' leading receiver both of his 2 seasons in Cleveland. Not to mention the guy, a consummate professional and really one of the leaders and heart and soul of this team. Backing him up, the one sure thing is Rashard Hollywood Higgins. Higgins had a down 2019 as he battled injuries and other factors that limited his production. But the Browns brought him back. He wanted to come back, and they're hoping he can regain that 2018 form when he had 39 catches for 572 yards and 4 touchdowns. Let's be honest, the connection between Hollywood Higgins and Baker Mayfield, it's undeniable. And this is an offense that's going to run primarily 2 wide receivers. So Higgins, that 3rd receiver, will certainly get some opportunities in that role. But this isn't a team like last year where you're going to be in 11 personnel, which means 3 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 running back the majority of the time. No. We know this is going to be a 2 tight end offense, 2 receiver, 1 back the majority of the time, or even 2 running backs and 1 tight end and 2 receivers. So that's what you're going to be looking for. But that's kind of your top 3. Behind that, it's pretty open. Who are some of the names you need to know? Well, here's the guys. Taywan Taylor, acquired last year from Tennessee prior to the season. A former 3rd-round pick of the Titans back in 2017. Had 466 yards receiving for them in 18. Didn't really see the field for the Browns last year, but he has the speed. And this wide zone scheme always has that speed receiver. Could that be Taywan Taylor? Damian Ratley was the Browns' 6th-round pick in 2018, had a career-high 200 yards receiving last year. And then there's also Kaderil Hodge, who's primarily a special teams ace, came over from the Rams a year ago. Hodge played great on teams, but also showed some flashes, averaging 19 yards a catch in limited time at receiver. Some of the young players, and of course there's Donovan Peoples-Jones, who we mentioned earlier. Those are kind of the 4 that I think are really competing for the next 2 spots and for playing time at wide receiver. There are also some young guys that you need to consider. DJ Montgomery, an undrafted free agent last year with the Browns, had a great preseason. In fact, was one of the team's leading receivers in the preseason before suffering a season-ending injury. The team also brought over JoJo Natson, but I think he will primarily be a returner for the Browns going forward. That's what he did for the Rams. Not much experience at wide receiver for the former product out of Akron. 2 names to know as well, Tony Brown and Jamarcus Bradley. They're your undrafted free agents that the Browns brought in this year. And Jamon Moore is an undrafted free agent who spent some time with the Browns last season as well as this season. So that's your wide receiver room. Camp battle, it's wide open after the top 3. You know Odell Beckham Jr., you know Jarvis Landry, but it's wide open after that because Hollywood Higgins, clearly your top backup. A lot of competition, a lot of opportunity for people. And the other thing to watch in camp is how do Beckham and Landry look coming back from their off-season surgeries? Stat to know. That's right. Did you know, and I did not know this, but did you know last year, both Odell Beckham Jr. and Jarvis Landry topped 1,000 yards receiving for the Browns? That is the first time in the history of the Cleveland Browns franchise that they had 2 wide receivers with more than 1,000 yards receiving in the same season. Back in 2007, Braylon Edwards and Kellen Winslow did it, but Winslow, of course, was a tight end. First time in Browns history, and let's look for that to repeat itself this year. For the latest on your Browns, keep it tuned to cleanbrowns.com and the Browns mobile app. This has been your Medical Mutual Browns position preview, looking at the receivers.